With the 2018 Scottish motor racing season just round the corner, we sat down with one of the exciting drivers from Scottish Formula Ford, Jordan Gronkowski. He had a fantastic 2017 season. Here he is leading the pack at a wet Knock Hill, and we discussed 2018 and a number of other topics. Okay, Jordan Gronkowski, thanks for coming along to talk to us at Superfast Scots. It's a beautiful sunny day.
Yeah, my pleasure.
Riviera. So, background of karting, Mini Coopers, Formula Ford, but it all started out on the Mega Drive in 1995.
It did indeed. I was always into racing when I was younger, just through really my dad being into racing. He used to race way back with his boss, John Walker, and he when John moved up a class of karts, just in karting, when John moved up a class, Dad got his kart that he used to race, and the two of them used to go around and just really not doing anything seriously. I mean, it was the 70s, so they just had fun. And that's what they did, they had fun. And so Dad had the racing in his brain when I was brought along. There's a picture of me sitting on his knee as a baby watching the Grand Prix kind of thing. Brought up with racing in my kind of surroundings. And then, I was really into playing games on the computer and whatnot, and the Sega Mega Drive, and me and my best mate would be having championship races through using the Sega, and try to sit on the floor thinking, well, if we sit a bit more aerodynamically, we'll go a bit faster, so we're kind of crouching down, holding the controller up and things. It was great fun. But there was one day, sunny day like this, I was probably, about 10, 11 years old, sitting playing the Mega Drive, and Dad comes up the stairs and says, do you want to go and see the go-karts at Boindy kart track, only been about 10 minutes from the house in Banff? So I said, well, Dad, I'm in the middle of a championship, this is important stuff I'm doing here. So we kind of went downstairs, but, okay, Jordan, you do what you want, kind of a bit downcast. And then my mother, ever the counsellor, came up and said, Jordan, it would make your dad feel really good if you went with him. Can I just do this for your dad, kind of thing? I think she probably regrets that every day since, because it was kind of that kicked it off. So I went with Dad, and just got bitten by the bug immediately. I mean, these things were so fast and loud, and the smells, and it was a Scottish Championship meeting as well. So there was so many karts there, and it was crazy. And we kind of broached the subject after that. Well, should we get one to have a play with? And of course, I'll be up for that. So we got an old 100B, old kart class that didn't race anymore, and just played with it for years at Boindy, and then eventually got started racing. No plans to race, but I think some of the mechanics in that and the teams that were going around that were racing and saw us practicing. I think one of the guys, Gordon Rennie, who's steward now at some of the meetings, I saw him last year. His son Scott raced against me as well, and it was him, I think, that came up and said to my dad, get him racing, this is crazy, you should be out there racing with us. So we did, just a couple of local races to start with, and then before we know it, we're down at Larkhall racing, and then it's kind of snowballed from there.
So karting used to be a route into motorsport, but we mentioned the Mega Drive. Now things have moved on an awful lot, obviously, so sim racing's a big thing these days, and people are getting scholarships, and you've got people that have done a lot with it, like Jan Mardenborough, for example. So you've got a sim yourself. What advantages do you think that gives young potential drivers these days?
Yeah, I mean, it's so the biggest advantage I think I find from the sim is, well, to start with, probably it was just the kind of being in a race situation, especially when you race online. It's all very well racing on the PC against PC, but there's something else that clicks in your brain when you know that everyone else against you is a real person, and they're going to move differently, and they're going to move how they would in real life. But then the kind of thing that took it a step further for me was really when VR took off. And still the resolution on it's not quite perfect. It's not as good as having the 3 screens or the high resolution screens. But it's the sense of being in the car. And the visual cues that you get. Obviously, you haven't got the seat of the pants feeling. You're not going to get that unless you have thousands of pounds to spend. But just the visual cues that you get, and then especially obviously Knock Hill. There's a lot of blind crests. So the likes of Project Cars 2, that's got Knock Hill in it. It's fantastic just for the likes of the chicane. Going through the chicane, you can't see the exit, so you've got to know where the exit is. And because we can only test on certain days and things in real life, it just means you've got unlimited time to then go and practice going through the chicane and just learning where the exit curve is and how far you can push the car and things. So from that point of view, it helps your driving and it helps your racecraft a little bit, I think, as well.
Yeah, excellent. So karting with your dad, it's a family activity. It seems to be the case for a lot of young karters. So have you got any tips for people starting off with karting?
Karting for us, I mean, all I can do is really advise on my experience. And again, it was really just fun. Something for Dad and me to do. And we enjoyed it, and we started getting relatively good at it, and because of that, we did more of it, and we just spent time together. So probably the biggest tip people starting out initially that I would give, and it would be the dads or mums and the kids, is to have fun.
Yeah, definitely.
Because there's so many times, and you remember this from karting, that there's the kid, they've had a bad race or something, and the kid's upset, and the dad or the mom is screaming at the kid, why did you do this, why did you do this? And that's not what racing's about.
Yeah.
It has to be fun. So I can't remember that. In fact, to this day, he's never shouted at me on anything in racing. I mean, we had one race that sticks in my mind. It was 2005, I believe. And it was the Scottish Super Series, and it was the final round at Crail, and we did a fantastic season that year. We'd won 2 of the rounds, and we went into the last meeting of the championship 1 point behind in the series, and then we went into the last race the day 1 point behind, and then ultimately we finished second. But I think it was the last heat before the final, and I was in a position, I was like 3 or 4 places ahead of the guy I needed to beat, and it was looking good, and I was about 5th or 6th at the time, so we'd come up from the back that race, and I went for a move on the last lap, 2 corners before the end. I went for a move up the hairpin, and I didn't need to make the move. I was sitting fine, the points were in the bag, and I just overcooked it and lost 3 places in the point, and obviously the points went with that. And in hindsight, that lost us the championship. And I came in and I was kicking myself like you wouldn't believe, and I could see Dad, and I knew fine he would be kicking himself, or me as well. But he didn't say. I just got out the car and I looked at him. Is he gonna give it a go? But he just said, you shouldn't have done that. And I said, yeah, don't say anything to me. I know I shouldn't have done that. And that was it.
Yeah.
Whereas some parents that would have been throwing the cart about, and
it's a learning experience, isn't it?
It is, exactly.
These things, you look at Senna at Monaco when he went into the barrier at Portier, but he's never going to forget that.
Exactly.
That's at a high level.
Exactly.
So these are things that make you a
do,
driver.
Yeah. So yeah, that would be my kind of tip, would be to have fun and don't don't take it too seriously. Just enjoy yourselves, and if the speed's there, it'll come, kind of thing. But don't try and win the world championship when you're first starting out. Have fun.
Yeah, if you don't want to be that competitive dad that's at the side of the football pitch and shouting abuse and things like that.
It's the same with all sports, I think, isn't it?
Definitely, yeah. So Mini Coopers, a win at Croft in 2008. In Scotland, we've got Knockhill. We've now got the reverse direction, which is a big bonus that we've got. But of the circuits that you've driven, what's your favourite?
Favourite circuit? Croft's always a good one. I enjoyed that. Quite flat, similar to Knockhill, similar to Boyndy, I should say, kart track wise. I love Knockhill. It's really technical.
And for a small track.
For a small track, and it's because you drive it all the time. You think, well, it can't be your favourite because you drive it all the time, but no, it is. It's a cracking circuit. It's a fantastic one. But probably, I don't know, favourite track. I've only driven it once, and it was part of the mini championship when we did away rounds. Yeah. But it was Cadwell Park.
Right. Excellent.
I think the biker. It's a big bike circuit. Yeah. The super bikes I think go there. I think they call it like the is it the Nürburgring of England or something? I don't know, but it's fantastic. There's dips and dives and crests and chicanes and long straights and fast corners, slow corners. It just really had everything. It was a cracking circuit, so I'd love to go back there and drive there again, definitely.
So what about circuits that you've not driven? So if you had a dream car and a dream circuit for a day,
a road car or a race car?
It could be anything. So if I have a race car, road car, whatever you could drive. So an F2004, for example. I know you're a Ferrari man.
Yeah.
So a car like that, and you could say Monza or Spa or something.
Yeah, exactly. Dream race car, something like F2004 or F2002. Were amazing looking cars, so it would be insane to drive a Formula 1 car. Circuit wise, probably, Spa, because it is kind of, people say Spa is the great circuit. Yeah. Because of the record that Michael Schumacher had there, obviously my kind of racing hero that he is. Yep. That would be someone I'd love to drive. It would be phenomenal. But Spa in any car, to be fair. If you were to take a little road car there, it would just be to be there and to drive that circuit. with someone else. Monza probably as well is probably up there. I'd love to. I've been there obviously for the Grand Prix last 2 years ago.
You can feel the history from Monza.
You can. You walk in the gates and it's just, it's unbelievable. So.
And I have driven that and I can't recommend it.
Yeah, I know you've driven it, so you give me some tips.
Yeah, it's well. I mean, there's only the 3 chicanes and apart from that straight, so even I could manage. But there you go. So you've been in single seaters. You've also driven the likes of Mini Coopers and stuff like that. So what are the pros and cons between a single seater and a tin top?
Single seaters, coming up through karts, the single seater is probably closest to a go kart.
Yeah.
The steering input is so direct.
Yeah.
Just like a car. They're really stiff.
Mm-hmm.
Rear wheel drive, obviously. The cons being you get wet when it rains.
Yeah. In Scotland, that's
it happens a lot. Yeah. Other than that, I mean, the feeling of the wind in the helmet and things. I mean, I remember the first time I drove a Formula Ford after driving the Minis for 3 seasons. I was lucky enough to get a test day in one of the last rounds. I think it was 2009, with Graham Brunton Racing coming up in a car for a test. And I just remember going round the circuit thinking, this is a racing car,
Yeah,
I mean, not to take anything away from the Minis, they're super competitive. It's massively tough to drive them on the limit, but I never really clicked with them. It's the front wheel drive and the inherent understeer you get from that kind of race car. It just never really clicked with me. But driving the Formula Ford was just, this is how it's meant to be. I couldn't see anything in the mirror, so I was bouncing everywhere.
It's vibrating all over the place.
It's crazy, but yeah, I mean, to me, it's single seaters are, they're definitely what I want to do for as long as I can race.
Yeah.
But yeah, not to get anything away from the guys in the tin tops. It's a skill to drive those things fast, as I found out. It's not easy at all. So yeah, it's something else.
So talking about single seaters, we mentioned Monza, so when I was there going down towards the Parabolica, as the speed picked up and you'd hear the wind rushing past the crash helmet lift as well, lifting up a wee bit. That was an incredible experience, but things have changed for this season because we've got the introduction of the Halo. Now it's a very, it's a controversial
it's pretty divisive,
addition.
Isn't it?
Yeah, so somebody said it was like, imagine watching a tightrope walker and then now you can see the safety net underneath them and it takes away some of the excitement. But we've had Henry Surtees, the injury that Massa sustained. There's been a lot of head injuries in single seater racing, so it is something that we need to think about. So what are your views on it?
My views are that it's a sport at the end of the day, and we're living in 2018. We're not living in gladiatorial times.
Yeah.
I certainly don't want to watch a sport where somebody could die pretty easily if something came off and hit them, as unfortunately has happened.
Yeah.
Not just in Formula 1, obviously other levels. To me, it's a safety thing, and the only argument I can see against the Halo is that it doesn't look good.
Yeah.
Now, that to me, that's not an argument. You can't say that if somebody's life gets saved by this thing, and it's one of these things. Until it saved somebody's life, or until somebody got killed that it would have saved.
Yeah.
You say, well, okay, now it's validated kind of thing, but you can't wait for that to happen.
Exactly.
In my mind, it's progress. I mean, look at like the back in the day when Jackie Stewart was, campaigning for seatbelts and things.
Yeah.
People said this is crazy. Yeah, you're taking the fun out of the racing. There's daft seatbelts. We need seatbelts.
Yeah.
But you can't have a sport like that.
Sterling Moss would have been dressed like you.
Exactly. Racing the t-shirts and it's daft. And they used to lose 10 drivers a year or something back in there.
Crazy.
It's daft. So no, to my mind, it doesn't look great at the moment. They will integrate it better into the cars as the years go on. And to be honest, watching qualifying this morning, it was fantastically exciting. I was on the edge of my seat. And the Halo didn't detract from that at all. In fact, seeing some of the footage from last year, you think, the cars look a bit naked. The driver's awful exposed there. I know I'm in the minority, and a lot of people think that it just diminishes the sport, but I can't see how an argument of it doesn't look good trumps it could save somebody's life. So.
And I mean, Jackie Stewart, you mentioned, he was talking about it, saying that when the wings were introduced back in the 60s with the likes of Lotus, Colin Chapman, people were saying, these cars are hideous, get rid of the wings, and now we're used to Formula 1 single-seater cars and through the ranks having aerodynamic devices on them. And that's for performance, but this is for safety, so it's something.
I mean, to be honest, to me, the step noses we had back in 2012 were a lot worse than the Halo.
Yeah, they were particularly ugly. So, future of motorsport, that's something we've got to think about as well. So the Halo is part of that. We've now got the likes of Formula E. What do you envision the future being? It's a difficult question.
Yeah, it is. It is difficult. Formula E is what the future probably looks like to most people at the moment, but there is something missing with the noise aspect.
Yeah.
And that's maybe a purist kind of way of looking at it, but you get engines that rev and burn non-fossil fuel. So that might be kind of the way to go. Formula E is great. I like watching it, but there is something weird about the whiny noise.
The onboard footage is strange. You just think it must be really weird to drive them. You think you're being a Ferrari man as well, so the 412 T2, a V12 Ferrari from 1995, a fantastic sounding car, just amazing. But those days, I suppose, are gone because we just can't keep doing that.
Yeah, I mean, on the subject of noise, I quite like the modern Formula One as well. I mean, having been to Monza a couple of years ago when they had the turbos and the MGUH and MGUK, it's a really futuristic noise, I think. I mean, obviously it's not the massive screen that you get from the V10s, V12s, but I just thought they sounded really, not on another level. You had the F3 and the F2 come out and they were just really, really loud cars. Yeah. And then the F1 guys come out and there was this really technical kind of noise going on in the braking zone and the energy recovery. I thought it sounded fantastic. Again, I'm probably not in the not in the majority when saying things like this, but
and I can't comment on that because unfortunately the last race I've been to was 2013 and that was the last of the V8s.
The last of the V8s, yeah.
I loved walking through the trees in Monza and hearing the noise of a distant V10 or a V8, but again, I'll just have to suck it up and get on with it, I think.
Well, that's it, I think, yeah.
So Scotland as well, we've had quite an interesting few years here from a motorsport point of view, and some big events like Ignition, which you were involved in last year. So what was that like?
That was unbelievable. It was a phone call. I can't remember how far in ahead it wasn't far away from it. It was like maybe a month in advance or something, saying, would you mind taking part? And I was like, what? That'd be fantastic. I mean, I used to live in Glasgow, just about 15 minutes walk from the SECC, so
brilliant.
to be in Glasgow where I
driving a single
spent my
seater
days at uni, driving a single seater, and the crowd was unbelievable, and to get to just the way that the crowd, have them waving back to you and cheering you on, it was fantastic. But some experience. It was really, really special.
And I was there watching you. I got soaked, but
it was. Yeah, we had some rain, which made sliding about and doing donuts and things a lot easier.
More fun.
Yeah.
So challenges for Scotland moving forward, because Ignition unfortunately looks like it's not going to go ahead this year. I've heard that the Argyll Festival of Performance has been cancelled, Ingliston Revival. So when things look to be on the up, they've maybe taken a wee turn at the moment. Can you think of any reasons for that?
I think everyone's kind of feeling the pinch a little bit at the moment, financially, just in your day-to-day lives, and it's unfortunately the way the country's going, without getting too political with Brexit and everything on the horizon. It's everyone's kind of feeling it a little bit, but people will always hopefully love seeing cars go fast. So over in the long term, things will hopefully pick up again. But I think at the moment everyone's just kind of feeling it a little bit. Ideas as to how to spice it up, I don't know. I did see a couple of, was it last year or a couple of years ago, there was a relaxation in the laws for closed road events. Again, Ignition obviously was something else. Bringing something into the town, I think, is a fantastic idea. It's a shame it's not going to go ahead. I believe it's not going to go ahead this year. Because again, there was a lot of guys came to me at Ignition, just when they were obviously touring the pits, and saying they didn't realise how close Knockhill was, and I'd love to go across and check out and things. So that kind of event, it's a shame it's not going ahead, because that's the kind of event I think that takes new people into the sport and hopefully expands it. And I think Formula One, with the London event they did last year, I think they found the same thing. Yeah, they found the same thing. It's this is people that have never seen a Formula One car because they don't want to travel to the circuit, pay the cost of entry, etc. Take it to them. So. That kind of event, if there's a way of doing that and getting a few people on board, obviously sponsorship of the event as well, getting people invested into it to make it worthwhile, that's the kind of event that would hopefully help to buck the trend.
Excellent. So you've mentioned sponsorship, so yourself, we can see you've got a fair few sponsors there. So is it becoming more difficult to get the support?
Yeah, sponsorship's never been easy. I mean, I've been in the position, or we've been in the position I should say, that we've never been able to race just on my income or my parents' income back in Carton. Even the first season we started racing, we found luckily some friends, the family, some businesses that help us out a little bit.
Yeah.
And it's kind of grown from there. But every year, the off season, if you like, it's the off season, but it never stops. So once you stop racing, my thoughts are always on next year. Yeah, how are you going to afford to do this? Basically, we've been massively lucky. I can't put into words how lucky we've been with sponsors and the support we have, and obviously we do My Race Space as well, which allows anyone to buy a little square on the car, put on what they like.
That's a great idea.
A message, a picture, or whatever, and then they become part of the team. We take them along on race days, get into prize draws, that type of thing. So we try and kind of promote it as well. But we're just so lucky with all that. I mean, I as I say, I realise how privileged a position I'm in, that I get to do what I love. And I wouldn't be able to do what I love, and I've gotten to this stage in my racing career, if you like, without everybody you see here, everybody that's on our website, not even on the car, just all the little support that we've had, it all adds up. It's got to be worthwhile for the sponsor. Nobody is going to pay you a lot of money to put a sticker on a car.
Yeah,
that's
they've got to get something.
There has to be something in return, and a lot of what I try and do is, or what we try and do as a team, is to make sponsor packages attractive to potential sponsors, and there are various ways of trying to do that, and it's just trying to find something that clicks. And as I say, we've been very lucky again with the support we get, and yeah, it's tough, but if you don't do it, you can't race. So it's the first hurdle to get over before qualifying or the race even begins. That's the first challenge, is to get the funding for the year.
And the thing is, the man behind you, we've got Jim Clark there. You're wearing the badge for the Jim Clark Trust. It's the 50th anniversary, sadly, of his passing this year, but he was an absolute megastar, still regarded as one of the best, if not by some people the greatest F1 driver ever. And we might have another one of those in the country. They just need the support, they need the opportunity, and that's, I suppose, what the whole point of Superfast Scots is about. So we really do need businesses to get involved and try and support young drivers coming through the ranks, and one of these days maybe we'll see the next Jim Clark.
Yeah, I'm sure we will. I mean, there's guys I raced against in karts that you think you should be in Formula One. I could throw some names out, but I don't want to name anybody. I don't want to embarrass anybody. But there's guys that you think he's so smooth, so consistent, constantly on it. Why is he not getting picked up by a team? Or like in football, the scout would come and pick them out and take them up. It just doesn't happen in motorsport. Some of these guys now they're just working. They've given up racing because they can't afford it anymore.
It's really sad.
He should be in Formula One.
It's a missed opportunity for us all, probably. So 2017, very competitive year for you, up against the Graham Brunton guys, and you've done a good job, which is obviously is going to be difficult as well, given the resources that they've got. So how do you prepare for a racing season? We're just about to kick 2018 off.
Well, how do you prepare? You just try and improve on the last year, and that's what we've been doing since the very first season, 1999, when I started racing karts. Every year you just look at what we do anyways. You look at the last year, you look at where you didn't do as well as you hoped you would do. Look at the reasons for that and try and improve on them, basically. So last year specifically, massive, mega competitive year. I mean, that's probably the most competitive season I've had in Formula Ford. You were battling out with guys, 5-6 cars battling for 4th, 5th place. It's crazy, and there's guys in front of that battling for the lead. It was qualifying. Sometimes you'd be a second covering the top 10, which is in Formula Ford terms is it's so tight. It's. And luckily, towards the end of the year last year, we started to kind of become good at it. We had the win in September, in the wet, then in the dry. In October, we were pretty quick as well. But I think we know where we're losing out to the competition, and we've hopefully addressed that this winter. But you don't know until you get on track, do you? So, and I'm sure this time next year there'll be somewhere else that we've not quite got that bit sorted, so we'll do that. And I think that when it's just a small team like we have, you've got to work in that baby step manner, because we just don't have the experience that like Graham Brunton guys. I mean, those guys they're so professional and they're so tough to beat, to race against. They just they seem to know everything, and they just always seem to be dialed in. Like, you've got to be on your best to beat them, because they're always dialed in. They're always on the pace. They're always the benchmark. So, but it's great. It pushes us to, to be better and to
you
try.
Must get a satisfaction out of that when you do beat them. Yourself, Kenny Cowie last year as well. He had some good performances against the Graham Brunton guys.
No, exactly.
And you must take away a lot from that.
Yeah, no, you do. And again, same in Carton again, because it's always been the small team. When you beat the big guys, it's a nice little pat on the back you give yourself for it that way.
Excellent. So you're a dad, you're a driver. How do you relax? How do you make the time for your family?
Family is relaxing for me.
Yeah.
It's my little girl Holly. She'll be 4 next May. She'll be 4 almost next month. And yeah, she's just is. She's amazing. As you know, you've got a little boy. They just are insane. Keep you on your toes. But no, it's the balancing. The biggest challenge with having Holly is, if Karen, my wife, and Holly come to a race, then it's often late leaving the track and it's late getting home, and Holly will often maybe sleep in the car, and then when you get home she won't want to go to bed again, and it'll be a rigmarole the next day. But it's just so a lot of the time Karen and Holly stay home and don't come to races, which is a shame. I miss having them there. I mean, before we had Holly, obviously Karen was at pretty much all the races, helping out my dad as well as part of the team, and yeah, I do miss them. And I have to say that the only time I've ever felt reluctant to go to a race weekend has been since I've had Holly, and it's if they're not coming through and I'm leaving the house on the Saturday morning to get to testing, the initial couple of minutes driving away from the house, I feel quite I wish Holly was with me. I was just staying with Holly and Karen for the weekend. But so yeah, it does give you that in the back of the mind, but again, you wouldn't have it any other way. I'd much rather have her in my life than just be myself racing. So
excellent. And your dad's just retired as well, so will he be spending a lot more time with you and focused on racing, or is that possible?
My mum's going to try and keep him busy anyway. So, he retired last September, and yeah, so I mean he's a mechanic trade. He was a mechanic all his days since leaving school at 14, working for pretty much the same company for A.D. Walker all the way through as well. Yeah. So yeah, he now gets to mechanic, but on a race car full time, and the van to look after as well, our transport. Right. But again, he's kind of focused on that mechanicing wise. But he's got a lot of stuff around the house that I'm sure Mum will keep him going with, rooms to redecorate and things to redo in the house. So
brilliant. So for you, 2018 and beyond, what are your plans moving forward from a racing perspective?
Again, this year on the track, we go into every season looking to fight for the championship. That's why we're doing it. Excuse me, if we were looking to finish on the podium once or twice, what the point of putting all this money into it, kind of thing. So still got to drive, still looking to try and beat the top guys. Again, the Graham Brunton guys are going to be the benchmark this year, and we'll try and take the fight to them like we did at the end of last year. We'll try and start next year like that. Again, yeah, we're going for the championship, but it'll all depend, because we've had no testing really this year at all. We get to this stage where the race is 3 weeks away and we've really no idea what the pecking order is. Has what we've done over the winter to our car got us on their level or ahead, or have they improved again, or you just don't know. So it's a bit early, although it's close to the race. It's a bit early to make any predictions. I'm kind of optimistic that we'll be in the hunt, hopefully, for some wins. And if we start racking up wins, then we'll be in the hunt for the championship. So fingers crossed.
And I'll be there to watch it. I saw some great performances from you at the end of last year.
Thanks very much.
So, people who haven't been to Knockhill and they've not maybe gone to an SMRC event, it's a lot of entertainment you get for not a lot of money.
You do.
Yeah, so
you keep them busy.
How could you recommend it to them?
Well, again, if you're a motorsport fan, there's something for everyone at Knockhill. I mean, you've got tin tops, you've got single seaters, you've got crazy stuff like the Legends, which
flying
are
through the air.
Exactly. It's daft. But again, you've got the other stuff around about the circuit as well, stuff to keep you occupied. Kids areas. You've got the go-karting if you want to have a go yourself. If you get a nice day, it's a cracking venue to be. If you get a rubbish day, then it's a cracking action to watch. It might be raining, but the action tends to be crazier when it's wet.
Definitely, yeah.
But no, it's live sport is fantastic. I think so. I think anyone who's a motorsport fan would surely agree. And Knockhill's within a couple of hours drive to most of the population in Scotland, I would say.
Yeah.
Being close to the Central Belt, so yeah, go along and have a go. I don't think it's much for a race. I mean, it's obviously it's a lot to some people. Tickets for race days. But yeah, if you can afford it, get along and have a look and see some live action. I mean, you can get so close to the cars. The good thing as well is that the paddock's open, so come and chat to us between races, the drivers, the teams, the cars. Come and have a look, poke your noses in, and ask some questions.
Brilliant.
And we're always happy to kind of take you on and come into the tent and get involved. Get involved in my race space and become a member of the team.
Excellent. Yeah.
And we'll show you behind the scenes if you like as well. So
great.
I just encourage people to give it a go.
Yeah.
It's there. It's so close. So yeah, if you like motorsport, then get yourself to Knockhill.
Excellent. So hopefully this interview's let people understand a little bit about yourself, and maybe they'll pop along and see you. But thank you very much for coming along and talking to me.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me.
You. Cheers. Thanks for taking the time to watch this video. If you'd like to support Jordan, please visit his website by going to the attached links.